Libby Gibson, our town manager, is off island today, so I have the honor of taking over her show for today. I had the honor of also facilitating the selectmen meetings this evening. That's why we're here. I'm just going to go over a recap of the selectmen meeting and bring up any sort of important news that may be fit to print. First and foremost, most importantly, I want to announce that the Visitor Services Office now has its 2012 fireworks fundraising t-shirts available. They have a beautiful design on the back, and we give out some great some kudos to David Sharp for designing the 20th anniversary of the Jetty's fireworks. And please note that there's a full moon, because there'll be a full moon that evening. And they are on sale at Visitor Services, and they support our local fireworks every 4th of July, so I encourage everybody to go down and buy one. I bought one today. So today, excuse me, on the agenda, we did a couple of things. First of all, I want to recognize that Ken Blackshaw resigned from the Energy Study Committee, and we thank him for his service. We hate when that happens, but we understand that oftentimes life conflicts with volunteerism. So we appreciate everything he contributed to the Energy Study Committee. We are very happy to recognize that the transfer of the liquor license for the new Rotary restaurant, so that will be very important, so we can get that facility open, that restaurant open at the Rotary sooner rather than later. We'd like to get as much business going on the island as possible. Trying to think of what the most important aspects of the evening. Jimmy Manchester, the new facilities manager. People may know Jimmy as a longtime the parks director, who was then transferred to Public Works last year during our consolidation. He has been now made our facility manager, and what that means is he's going to be more involved in the day-to-day maintenance of municipal facilities. Well, one of his big projects, as we all know, is still our Nobodere fields out there in Nobodere Farm Road, and he gave an update today to let us know pretty much the status, and he wants everybody to know that the fields, the first 2 fields are pretty much completed, but they're not yet ready to be used. They still need to be irrigated for another year. So we're anticipating a July 1st start opening for those fields. So you can still drive by, you can still see you can look through the gates and see the fields. The facility will have about 97 new parking spots, so we hope to be able to accommodate many people coming in. And then that's not going to be completed once it's open next July. We do have the plans to put in the artificial field another year from now, and we also have room for expansion as well as for parking expansion should we need to. So we're pretty excited about the Nobodere Field project, and we give a lot of thanks to Jimmy and Diane O'Neill from Town Administration, the State Procurement Officer, who've put a lot of time and effort into this to make sure that we have more playing fields for the island to enjoy. This evening we talked a lot about the airport capital and revenue projects. There was a good discussion by the Airport Commission Chair, Dan Drake, as well as our Finance Director, Irene Larrabee, about the status of multiple projects. Now, I think the board got on a very good footing and understanding of where we are currently, and we are expecting the airport and Ms. Larrabee to come back with a summary of the projects that are currently in progress, that are completed, and those that we still need to, for which we need to borrow. And that's kind of the important part, is the outstanding projects, the projects that could be deferred, and some of the projects that really need to be done or are already currently in progress, for which we need to borrow, and that impact that will have on the town's budget. So the good news is that it's not nearly as bad as we thought, and that we're all willing to work together, and we're getting to a very good place. We had some good dialogue, so if you do have a chance to see the selectmen meeting from this evening, do encourage you to see that, because all the projects that are out there with the airport were listed, and so we can have a better understanding and awareness of what the airport needs to be done at the airport, as well as the relationship that we are now forging with town administration and finance to make sure we don't get into a situation like we've had in the past. We also had an update from Dr. Sarah Oktay regarding the newly formed Coastal Management Plan Work Group. She presented the outline of the island that has been dissected into a bunch of sectors regarding a future development of the plan that's going to be developed by this work group. She encourages everybody to attend their meetings, come and visit. I believe they meet on Mondays in the town building at 16 Broad Street at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, but they're always posted. So we encourage you to participate, and I know Dr. Oktay would appreciate your input. We also had a review of the Traffic Safety Work Group's recommendation to make Cherry Street one-way from Pleasant Street towards Orange Street. Cherry Street is a street that's Fast Forward is on and near Cumberland Farms. Right now, it's a two-way street. So there is a recommendation put forth by the Traffic Safety Work Group to make that a one-way. There will be a public hearing on that, and it will be noticed for our next round of public hearings, which will probably be in about a month. So if you're interested in that, all abutters will be notified, and we will make sure that we have a proper public hearing before we make any changes. We also had a pretty big discussion ongoing with our Energy Study Committee, as well as our Energy Office. Right now, the town has the option to reapply for a grant to fund our Energy Office. The Energy Office was begun last year with a very generous grant from the Schmidt Foundation to fund 2 positions to look forward at our energy needs. There's one position which is a consultant and one position which is an kind of on-the-ground, day-to-day conservation and efficiency organizer. And we're looking to renew those grants and learn from what they've accomplished this year and maybe build upon those successes. And so we had a pretty good discussion about the RFPs, request for proposal, to move forward with those positions. And I do believe that we will be applying for those grants again with the eye on creating an overall strategy that the town would follow to develop, to conserve and create more energy efficient structures and get more information out there to the public. And in tandem with that, we discussed the mission of the Energy Study Committee. We're all very grateful for the effort that the Energy Study Committee has put forth in the past many years, particularly last year. They may get a bad rap for having maybe focused too much on the wind turbine, but there was a misunderstanding, and many of them thought that was the mission. And they put forth some very good information that is still on the town's website. However, moving forward with looking more of an energy strategy, we are anticipating a change in the mission for the Energy Study Committee. So we will be discussing the mission of the Energy Study Committee again next week here at the Board of Selectmen to find out how they can best synergize with the Energy Office and Town Administration and the goals of the board. It was a very good discussion, and we hope to retain many of the members of the Energy Study Committee because, once again, we thank them for all the hard work they've done for the past several years. We also had a discussion regarding downtown parking. Our new select person, Bruce Miller, put forth a proposal to extend the hours of parking downtown in the core district over the past couple of weeks. So today, Police Chief Pittman, as well as DPW Director Kara Bozowski, thank you. I'm sorry, Kara. Came and gave a proposal of what it would take to change the hours of downtown parking and what that may mean financially, as well as potentially for people parking downtown. And we put up maps of what the downtown parking is currently like 1 hour, 2 hour around the core and around the in-town district. And we came to the conclusion that for the core, for all the 3 sectors of the core, we will extend the parking by 1 hour. So currently, all parking is enforced until 6 o'clock in the evening, and we will be extending it until 7 o'clock in the evening. And there is still ongoing discussion regarding the outlying areas in the town and whether we would extend those hours, extend that to 7 o'clock, or if we would even potentially extend hours until 8 o'clock. This is just a trial, it's an experiment to see if this would help alleviate some of the downtown congestion, but also allow people to be able to come in and find spots and to be able to enjoy dinner downtown. We will reevaluate it at the end of the summer, and if there's any sort of long-term effects, we would make a recommendation to move forward with any sort of bylaw change. Right now, we can do this at the board level as an experiment for no more than 60 days. So that is what we're intending to do right now. So be aware that we get the notice out there, but we may be having some changes in parking downtown, and you just have to keep your eye on that so you don't get a ticket. And that's pretty much it. We don't have the agenda for next week set, so I can't discuss what's going on to keep your eye on your finger on the pulse of government for next week. But I know it'll be new and exciting, and I hope you all enjoyed the show and had a very good Daffodil weekend. We know that it was very busy downtown, and there are quite a few people, so I hope it was good business and that everybody had fun. And I know you'll be looking forward to having Libby back next week as much as I will. Thank you very much.